Welcome back to Nowhere Near Done, where we talk about perimenopause, identity shifts, and what it actually looks like to rebuild your life in this phase. Today, I'm sitting down with Jenny Schatzle, who spent 2 decades building a fitness empire here in Santa Barbara, but recently made the bold decision to step away and start a completely new chapter. And because this conversation was so layered and important, this is actually part one of a two-part episode. In this episode, we talk about her evolution from running a gym rooted in weight loss culture to helping women build real confidence and actually feel good in their bodies. We also have a really honest conversation about GLP-1 medications, and we talk openly about the complicated emotions, judgments, and realities surrounding weight, health, and women's bodies right now. Here's my conversation with Jenny. Hi, Jenny. Thank you so much for joining me on Nowhere Near Done.
So excited to be here.
You created this fitness empire, Bond Fitness, but recently you left and you are jumping into a whole new chapter of your life.
Well, yes. So I had a career in fitness for 25 years. I got my start when I was 19. I'm now 47. We started a gym in Santa Barbara for a long time. It was called the Jenny Schatzle program.
Hmm.
And one of our things is we always say we wanted to start a community rather than a gym. And it was a place where people could just come and feel very seen and loved and part of a community and not judged because a gym can be very intimidating.
Hmm.
And then we rebranded, and then it was called Bond Fitness for many, many years. And just last month, we sold it. And my business partner, Steven, and I, we are on a whole new adventure. And I'm stepping into keynote speaking
Right.
and helping women love their body and build unshakable confidence.
Of anybody I know, you have such an incredible outlook on body image, and I know that that's also a work in progress. Let's talk about what brought you into that space.
I came out here from Minnesota and I just didn't know what I wanted to do. I really loved to work out. I was an athlete. I loved to move my body, but I really loved classes.
Mm.
And I couldn't afford a gym membership, so I got a job working the front desk at Gold's Gym. But actually everybody in my life kept saying fitness isn't a real career. And this was before there was no Soul Cycle or boutique gyms,
Uh,
right? There was only the big box gyms.
yeah.
And so I was like, "Oh, okay, well, I guess you're right." And so I did a internship in the marketing department at Gold's Gym for 3 months, and I said, "I don't care if I make $10,000 a year. I will never work a desk job.
Yeah.
I will never work a 9 to 5." Some of the advice that I give younger people
Mhm.
is if you don't know what you wanna do all the things and realize what you don't wanna do.
Yeah. That's
So
great.
I had to do that desk job in order to know that no matter what, this is not what I'm gonna do with my life.
Yeah.
And so I pursued fitness,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna fast forward a little bit to where we are now because looking back, I contributed to, a lot of body image, disordered eating. I used to weigh people in at our gym.
Mm.
I used to do measurements. I used
Mhm.
to do before and afters. It is how I grew up. I grew up in a household where what we looked like
Mhm.
was everything.
Yeah.
It's all we talked about.
Mhm.
We bonded over it.
Mhm.
So we would bond over binging
Uh-huh.
and dieting.
Mhm.
We always started a new diet on Monday, my mom, my sister, and I. We always binged on Sundays.
Mm.
We were constantly comparing our bodies to each other, to the outside world. And then I went into the fitness industry,
Mm.
which for me it was normal. This is
Mhm.
what you did,
Yeah.
right? You ate restricted diets, you worked out to the max.
Mhm.
And my niece came down with an eating disorder,
Okay.
and it was actually my wake-up call.
Okay.
So she was 16 years old at the
Uh-huh.
time, and I was like, I had a part in this.
Mm.
We were really close,
Yeah.
and it really opened my eyes to the dynamic of the women in
Mhm.
my family.
Yeah.
And so I said, all right, it's time for me to do some work.
Mhm.
And so I spent many, many years unlearning all of
Yeah.
this toxic messaging,
Mhm.
my body dysmorphia.
Mhm.
You know, I never considered that I had an eating disorder because growing up disordered eating,
Mm.
that term wasn't a thing. In my opinion, dieting and binging on a constant basis, I think is an eating disorder.
Yeah.
But when I was growing up, if you weren't anorexic or bulimic,
That wasn't.
you didn't have an eating
Yeah.
disorder.
Mhm.
And so I was always like, "Oh yeah, that's not me." And I realized I was pretty messed up
Yeah.
in the way that I ate, but I didn't even know it because I grew up
It's
in
so
this world
normal.
and then I went into the fitness industry.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so yeah,
Yeah.
we changed our business. We
Mhm.
stopped weighing people in. We stopped doing before and afters. And I really, I changed my whole life.
I was part of the gym back in those days
Yeah,
when you were doing that, and I do think it felt so normal at the time. Even now, that does feel very normal in the fitness industry, the before and after. I mean, what else if not to change your body? And so we finally are changing the discussion around it, and especially as women in this phase of our lives. And
I do believe the conversation has changed a
Mhm.
lot around bodies, but to be honest, weight loss sells.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons our business was so successful
Mhm.
is because we did weigh-ins and people were looking to lose weight. I've said this for the last 10 years. What I saw the most was women would come in and say, if I just lost this last 10 pounds, then I would be happy.
Mm.
And then what happens is we lose the 10 pounds.
Mhm.
One, it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
So doing these, workouts, overworking out, restricting ourselves, it's not sustainable.
Mhm.
Any kind of restriction leads to a binge. I also found when we are so focused on losing weight, we become obsessed with the way that we look, how
Mhm.
our clothes fit, what we're eating, and it takes us out of living our lives.
Mm.
A big part of what I do is helping women become aware of the toxic messaging. Like, we were never told that for the rest of our lives, our bodies are going to change.
That's true.
So many of us learned that the worst thing that can happen to a woman is to gain weight.
Mhm.
And so what my goal is to help moms
Mhm.
change this conversation for themselves and in their household so they help change the next generation.
Mm.
Because what we learned was misinformation.
Yeah.
And the real issue is we learned from our parents, our aunt, our uncle, the coach, the teacher who said something that always stuck with us. Those were their body image issues.
Mhm.
And then we took that on as our own.
It's so true. Many women around me, that was the conversation. We would spend time together talking about our bodies and losing weight or what we're doing to lose weight.
We bond over it, and it's just we are disrespecting ourselves.
Mhm.
So many of us have these incredible like, we are smart
Mhm.
and capable and healthy, and yet we don't believe it.
Mhm.
We're not acting like we are, and, I really believe that we need to be setting better examples
Mhm.
and unlearning all of this messaging we grew up with, and
Mhm.
it's really, really hard. You went on a GLP, and I'm
Mhm.
so proud of you for saying that
Yeah.
because you said, I've lost 30 pounds
Mm.
and I don't want the women in my life to think I did this on my own. Whenever you talk about food, body image, people just automatically go black and white, and it's
Mhm.
not black and
It's
white,
so nuanced.
right?
Yeah.
And so I will speak out on this, and people are like, you're anti health, you're anti,
Mhm.
GLPs, you're
Mhm.
anti, and I'm anti diet culture.
Yeah.
So
Right.
diet culture makes us believe
Mhm.
that what we look like is more important than how we feel.
Totally.
I am anti that.
Yeah.
Anything else, first of all, your body, your choice always.
Uh-huh.
And I don't believe we should be shaming women.
Right.
We can be talking about diet culture
Mhm.
and wellness culture and
Mhm.
how we're fighting against it.
Mhm.
And at the same time, not shaming women for their choices.
Well, I want this to be a safe, non-judgmental space. If you're listening, you're not allowed to be judgy.
I love that because no matter what I say, people are going to take it for what they want.
Yeah.
I think a conversation we're not having is
Mhm.
as a society,
Mhm.
if a society gets smaller, if the women get smaller,
Mhm.
it affects the younger
Yeah,
generation.
absolutely.
It affects our beauty standards.
Mhm.
It affects what everyone now is trying to be.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of women that are out in the world thinking, what is wrong with me? I'm
Yeah.
just trying to live my life in this body that is changing. I'm
Mhm.
trying to be the healthiest person I can be. And I'm looking at everybody else. And I think the conversation is there's still a lot of us that are choosing not to do it.
Mhm.
Since my sleep has changed,
Mhm.
I am finally feeling back in my body.
That's amazing.
There was a real conversation of like, I'm doing everything. And the reality was, I wasn't doing everything. I wasn't sleeping. So
Mhm.
the next day I'm eating like shit.
Yeah.
I don't drink anymore. I'm 13 years sober,
Mhm.
but I'll lay in bed eating chips because I'm trying to numb out
Yeah.
from my day
Yeah.
because my nervous system is so over the top.
Uh,
The last 2 years have been super stressful.
totally.
And so I'm just thinking like, I'm doing everything right, but I can't lose this weight. But the reality is, I'm not. And if we really dug deep, like I wasn't happy.
Mm.
And so I really wasn't making health choices. And then I'm so focused on the weight
Mhm.
that it's over consuming me.
Yeah.
And so I really believe like the step by step of
Mhm.
working with the doctor.
Mhm.
And again, I'm going to repeat it's like anything. I had a really great conversation with my best friend yesterday. She's like, no matter what anybody does, there's always going to be people who do it the wrong way,
Mhm.
abuse it,
Totally.
and I think this drug could be a miracle for people. I
Yes.
also think some things are too good to be true.
Yeah.
And all the information and the research is not
Mhm.
all out there.
Yeah.
And so I really believe that if you are going to choose to do GLP, we should be working with our doctors,
Yeah.
and there needs to be blood panels. There needs to be work before, during, and after.
Mhm.
Like a lot of this online, getting it from your trainer, here's my discount code.
Mhm.
There's no follow up.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's a really good point to be made. I had to go in. I had blood work done.
Yeah.
It was a very it
There was a
wasn't just
process to
yeah.
it.
And one thing that the GLP-1 does is it makes you kind of not hungry.
Yeah,
And
100%.
so it's
Yeah, yeah.
very easy to
To not,
abuse it and to
yes.
use it in a way that's very unhealthy. Even if you're not feeling like eating, you know, you got to make sure that you're eating and you're eating well. So there were a lot of things that went into it. So this is where I think it can get tricky because I lost the weight very quickly
Yeah. And
and
you,
very easily. And so I can say that I see the I see benefits but also the dangers because it
yes.
can be an easy abuse. And then you do start to go, "Oh, I wonder how much weight could I potentially lose?" Because that's been a struggle my whole
And
life.
this is the other thing is even, before GLPs, it's like, oh, if I just got to this certain weight. But the
Mhm.
reality is, usually when you get there, it's still never good enough.
Yes.
When I was at my thinnest,
Mhm.
when if I could just get down to 130 and I'd be like, oh, I still got a little bit on my arms. I
Yeah.
still got a little bit. When the focus is so much on when I get to here,
Mhm.
it's never enough.
Exactly.
And it's a slippery slope of that. And then also, let's say you're getting on and off it.
Mhm.
The question I always found whenever I lost weight,
Mhm.
I always had fear of gaining it
Gaining it
back.
back.
And it's
Mhm.
always in the back of your head.
Yes. The thing that shifted in my mind that I'm really proud of is the fact that now at 44, I feel stronger because I'm lifting weights. I was not doing that when I was running distance in my 20s and 30s. I feel stronger now in my body. Um, I'm more appreciative of my body. And now, and I think this is where it can get tricky because it's
Mhm.
sad to me that I couldn't feel this way about
Without
myself
that.
without the weight
Agreed.
loss. You know what I mean? But I will say that I now look at myself and I'm so much more kind and I love my body more than I did when I was in my 20s, when I was probably smaller and my skin was tighter. I'm happier in my body now than I was then. How do we do that without weight loss?
It's a lot of work, and
Yeah.
it's every single day. So it is really rewriting the story. It's having an awareness.
Mhm.
Like, you got to go deep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Well,
and I'm just like
yeah.
talking for you. Like, this is a long time of like, the household you grew up in. And then you were a journalist and a news anchor. And like,
Mhm.
there's so much stuff to unwrap there.
So much.
Right. And you even said it. A lot of your worth is wrapped up in the way that you look.
100.
First of all, own that.
Yeah.
And then how do we unravel that?
Mm. Mhm.
If I feel good in my body at 180 pounds, which I am right now, and I am working on like for so long, I hid my arms. I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me, it's empowering to show up in the body that I have and be like, fuck
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
This is who I am today.
Uh-huh.
I'm showing up in this room.
Mhm.
And if anybody's going to judge it or have a problem with it,
Mhm.
that's their issue, not mine.
Totally.
So for me, that is empowering. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean that I am against somebody losing 30 pounds and feeling good in their body.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So part of my revolution, if I am feeling good in my body
Mhm.
and I have healthy habits, which I will say for me, it's been in the last 5 months, such upping my progesterone,
Uh-huh.
I will say sleep is the game
Oh,
changer.
I love that.
It's the number one. I'm waking up. I'm not groggy. I'm eating nutrient dense food.
Mhm.
I'm again, like you said, I'm taking way better care of my body.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize how shitty I was feeling because I wasn't getting sleep.
Mhm.
And it goes everywhere. It's how you move. It's
Yeah.
how you eat. And so that was a big aha for me. So
Mhm.
right now, if I'm have extremely healthy habits, I'm feeling really good in my body.
Mhm.
If I have to take a GLP-1 to lose 20 pounds, I don't think my body's supposed to be there.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, and
For
that's
me,
totally.
okay?
And I
And
think
this
that's
is
so
also
fair.
where I think people get health habits and weight loss are two separate things,
Yes.
okay?
Yeah.
So, I my niece Caroline, she changed my life.
Mm.
through what happened to her,
Okay.
and now I have 2 girls.
Uh-huh.
And so I started this work. I have changed the trajectory of our family.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I am perfect. I do
Uh-huh.
not first of all, I don't wake up every day and like, "I love my body.
Right.
I love my arms." I have really bad body image days,
Mhm.
but now I don't decide to do the things I used to do. Like, if I had a bad body image day,
Mhm.
I would immediately, okay, what's the next diet I can do?
Mm.
What's the next program I can do? How
Mhm.
can I, okay, I'm going to cut out XYZ. I'm going to fix this.
Mm.
So now instead, when I have a bad body image day, I think, what's really going on with me?
Mm.
The goal is just to do the things less.
Yeah.
We're still going to do them.
Mhm.
And the goal is also to stop beating ourselves, and the
Mhm.
shame and the guilt. That is what keeps us in the body image cycle
Mm.
is we do the thing, whether it's binging, over drinking, whatever it is,
Mhm.
right? And then we have the guilt and shame about it,
Mhm.
and then we get back on it, and then it happens again.
Mhm.
So now breaking that cycle is, let's say I do stay up binging on food, I stayed up too late, I'm binging Netflix, I get up the next day and I'm like, what was going on with me that I did that?
Yeah.
And then when you start to act like, this is how you unravel the story.
Mm. Okay.
This is how you break the guilt and shame. And then
Mhm.
I like pull out my journal and I'm for 5 minutes, I'm
Mhm.
just going to brain dump. And what comes out is like, oh, I felt really unsupported yesterday.
Okay.
I didn't talk to my husband. I am feeling, so overworked. And it all comes out and it's like, oh no shit, I binged
Right.
because that was my release.
Totally. Yeah.
And
I
so then
yeah.
right there, I've broken that cycle.
Mhm.
So now I get up. I also, and this is just really powerful for me, when I'm having a bad body image day,
Mm.
I literally put on a sports bra and little shorts and I go on a walk outside.
I
I literally
love
put on the least amount of clothes
Uh-huh.
and I'm like, fuck it. This is how I look and
Yeah.
I'm going to go out into the world
Yeah.
and I'm going to own it. And when you start like
Yeah.
peeling the layers back, and then you can kind of be like, oh, actually, it isn't about what I look like.
People don't remember or care what you look like as much as they remember and care how you make them feel.
People don't care what you look like as much as you care what you look like.
Well, yeah. That is
Solar shit.
it's such a internal struggle that we're all dealing with all the time and
And this is where, again, nobody should be shaming women
no.
for being on a GLP-1. Somebody did say to me, "Well, I'm probably going to be on the GLP for the rest of my life." Like people are on antidepressants and all. Everybody has to do what works for them. And with that being said, nobody's going to their trainer or the wellness guru for an antidepressant,
Mhm.
right? This is also the conversation around GLPs,
Yeah.
but I need us to think about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, it's not like I'm somebody who's telling you, like, hey, go take some creatine. This isn't a supplement.
Uh,
And the pharmaceuticals,
mhm.
you cannot get them from a wellness guru or a trainer
Mm.
and so I think unraveling why do I feel this around
Yeah.
my body
Mhm.
at the same time as you're working with your doctor to take whatever it is you need to take,
Mhm.
these things go hand in hand.
100%.
And so a lot of the work that I'm doing is because this all goes hand in hand.
Mhm.
So many women are not stepping into leadership roles,
Mm.
doing the things they want to do in this world
Mhm.
because we've been conditioned to doubt
Yeah.
ourselves and we don't lack confidence.
Mhm.
It is what we've been taught our entire lives.
Mm.
And for so many of us, it started in the mirror.
Yeah.
And we have taken that insecurity that we learned looking at ourselves and our bodies and all the women around us,
Mhm.
and now it leads into how we show up in the world,
Yeah.
the career choices we make,
Mhm.
the relationships we decide to stay in.
Mhm.
And my goal with all of this is to have more women in leadership.
Yeah.
Women are going to change the world,
Mhm.
but we have to be the ones confident enough to step out
Mhm.
and do it. We have to speak up. We
Yeah.
have to show up.
Yeah.
We have to demand a seat in the room. And we can't do that
Mhm.
if we're constantly fixated on the fact that we need to lose fucking 10 pounds.
Totally. It is such a waste of time. I still have like half of my life left to do whatever I want to do. Not like what's going to bring in the most money. What do I want to do? And I had been feeling for the last like several years that I really want to do something that is going to be empowering to women and helpful to women. And it felt like this conversation around perimenopause and midlife and getting into the space felt very relevant to me and to the women around me. And so I really wanted to open up this space where we could do this. Your messaging is so important. And regardless of what we decide to do, that should just be so secondary to, like, how we feel about ourselves.
I love that you're talking about it. Women should be proud of the choices we make.
Yes.
This is also like the other side of it. Here's the reality. Weight loss sells.
Uh-huh.
I know this. I've been in this industry.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Trying to tell women to love and accept their bodies, it's a hard fucking sell.
Yeah.
Everybody says, yes, this is what I want. But in reality, everybody wants to be a smaller body.
Yeah.
And what really takes is doing the internal work.
Mhm.
I mean, it is deep work.
Mhm.
I believe journaling is one of the easiest, doesn't cost anything,
Mhm.
and I call it brain dumps, where
Okay.
you literally set a timer for 5 minutes and you just write everything. You're
Mhm.
like, would this have happened if I wasn't on a GLP-1? Whatever comes up, you
Yeah.
write that out.
Yeah.
This is all part of my framework.
Mm.
Like a huge part of it is awareness. And then also naming it and inviting it in. Like so often our shame, we're just trying to bypass it. Like, don't feel that. Don't. I'll be like, oh, there you are. Oh, your arms are too big. You should not be on camera without a sweater on. Oh, hey, you know what? I hear you. You are here, but you are actually not going to be the one that's going to dictate how this goes,
Mm. Yeah.
because that voice right there
Mhm.
is not who I want to be.
Mhm.
The first thing we think is what has been ingrained in us.
Mhm.
The second thing we think or the action that we take is who we want to be. I'm feeling really good in my body. And I
Yeah.
think the more we can just show up as our authentic selves,
Mhm.
we give other women permission to do the same.
Yeah.
I did a post on Monday where I posted myself in a bikini.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
the first thing I wrote was, in case you needed to see a 180-pound woman who's sober, not on a GLP-1.
Mhm.
Again, that is not a judgment for people who are.
Right.
We need to also show this other side that not everybody is.
Right.
And
Yeah.
we're all working towards this
Yeah.
goal of feeling good in our bodies.
Yes. And I think that's the end cap. Creating this space where we can have these conversations where women can make choices based on what's best for them, but also keeping in mind if you're constantly chasing like the number on the scale is what's making you happy, like you
Yeah.
will
Or my
never
life's going to
be.
get better when
Yeah.
I lose 10 pounds, when I
Hmm.
look better, when I feel better.
Yeah.
It's actually, unless you're doing the internal framework, you're not,
It's
it's not going to work.
never.
So many of us are trying to get down to a weight our body is
Mhm.
not meant to be.
Yeah.
And this goes back to also women aging. We were never told that for the rest of our lives, our bodies are going to change.
Mhm.
And that is reality.
Yeah.
Um, Getting old is something we're trying to not do.
Hmm.
Again, with like, don't get wrinkles,
Yeah.
don't gain weight.
Hmm.
Getting old is a privilege,
Yeah.
and not everybody gets that privilege.
Yeah.
And here it comes back to like a lot of us are wasting this privilege
Hmm.
because we are trying to be a size. Who made up the number?
Yeah.
If at 180 pounds, I'm living my fullest life,
Hmm.
and at 140 pounds, it takes me out of living my life
Hmm.
because I become so obsessed about keeping that
That's right.
number.
Totally.
And who says at 47, I'm supposed to be 140, 150, 160?
Hmm.
Who's making the rules?
Right.
I want to make the rules.
Yeah.
Why do I need a scale?
Right.
My daughters are going to see that I have a scale in my bathroom
Totally.
once
Yes.
they start to learn what that is. But we, for so long, because we watched our moms do it,
Yeah.
it was in all of our households.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, by stepping on that scale, it's going to determine if my day is good or bad.
Yes. And
I'm a
that is
better person
right.
because I'm down
Yeah.
5 pounds, or I've gained 5 pounds,
Uh-huh.
or I need to change what I'm doing. No, I don't need a scale to tell me whether
Yeah.
I feel good in my body or not that
Mhm.
day.
A bad picture, a number on a
All it
scale,
takes.
that's all it takes to ruin a day, and it's so sad. I mean, that's where we need to really work on that. It's so heartbreaking as a mom to watch your child be down on themselves in any way for whatever reason.
I always talk about, for a lot of us, and it was right around this age, it's anywhere from like 6 to 12. Somebody said something. My dad used to call me a football, like, you're built like a linebacker. So my whole life, I'm like, oh, I have big shoulders. My brother used
Uh-huh.
to say thunder thighs. It's the kid on the playground that called you fat, whatever.
Uh-huh.
Somebody said one thing and it sticks with you and you
Yeah.
take on that story. Here's my advice for parents dealing with kids.
Mhm.
First of all, the energy that we bring to a conversation is more important than what we say.
Mm.
So when a kid comes and says, somebody called me fat, or
Mhm.
somebody said I had a big stomach, or they, some kind of body comment, if we as parents, because internally, this is what we want to do. First of all, we don't want any of our children having the food and body image shit we did,
Right.
right? And
Right.
so we're like working so hard not to pass it on
Mhm.
that sometimes we do the opposite. So if your kid comes to you and says, somebody called me fat or I'm fat or blah blah blah, and we're like, no, you're not. Oh my gosh, you're gorgeous? Who said that? No, no, you're fat. You're perfect. You're just the way.
Uh-huh.
So we're reacting in a way that our energy right away they're in tune. Like,
That was something wrong.
oh, this is something big.
Uh,
My mom has a lot of energy around this,
uh-huh.
so this means a lot, and this particular subject is important. Where if we took a minute to just pause,
Mm.
take a deep breath, get back into our bodies, and say, all bodies are good bodies. There's short people, there's tall people, there's big bellies, there's small bellies. All bodies are good bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Kid's like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
Literally, my daughter came to me, second day of kindergarten. They're in third grade now. She's looking in the mirror and she said, this is my life's work.
Yeah.
And she said, Mom, I have a fat stomach. And I'm like dying inside, right? Like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Where did you hear this? Who
Yes.
said this? Oh my,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
read all the books on bodies and all the things, and I'm doing all this work.
Uh-huh.
And then I did exactly that. I had to take a deep breath. I had to calm myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I said exactly that. All bodies are good bodies.
Mm-hmm.
There's big bellies and there's small bellies,
Mm-hmm.
tall, short. And I was just so calm.
Uh-huh.
And she was like, all right, she just went on with her day.
Yeah.
We have to control our instinct to like overcorrect
Uh-huh.
and get really excited about it. We have to stay calm, and our energy is going to dictate this conversation.
Yeah.
And also, as parents, we need to get curious. Like, oh, where'd you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that?
Yeah.
What do you think that means?
Yeah.
I look around and I see all different kinds of bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be so boring if we were all the same height.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be so boring if we all looked alike. It's
Not.
just calming the energy around it. Like
Yeah.
it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
What we look like is the least interesting thing about us.
When you have daughters and you look at them and think, look at this beautiful, incredible girl and how amazing she is. And it's this sadness knowing that
It's gonna come.
it's coming, that self-doubt and the negative self-talk.
So many women come to me and I used to give these speeches in the gym and they would say, oh, I want you to come and, speak to my daughter, speak to their class, speak to this team. And I'm like, I don't want to speak to the girls. I want to speak to the moms
Mm-hmm.
because we're so trying to like, how do I make sure they're not like this?
Yeah.
It's by how you live.
Yes.
I'm just going to be honest.
No, but
This is where we create awareness.
Uh-huh.
Your daughter is
Is
seeing that scale.
watching. Totally.
She's what, and
Yeah.
let's go even deeper.
Mhm.
If you know you're gaining or losing 5 pounds, you're stepping on that scale.
Right. Oh, 100.
So there is,
Yeah.
you are still chasing your worth around that.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
there's a point where you got to be like, if I want to change this, that's going in the garbage can today. This is
Mhm.
the one action move I can take. We got to stop trying to change our daughters and start
Mhm.
changing ourselves.
Yeah.
It's the only way we're actually going to change them.
Yeah.
Kids don't do what we say, they do what we do.
Yeah.
And so, again, people will say to me all the time, like, well, how are you going to keep your kids away from negative body image and social media and else? And I'm like, I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
But the stronger the message is at home,
Mm-hmm.
the more they'll be equipped to fight the rest of the world.
That was part 1 of my conversation with Jenny Schatzle, and honestly, we're just getting started. In part 2, we talk more about hormones, HRT, and the realities of navigating perimenopause while also trying to maintain healthy relationships with ourselves, our partners, and our kids. If this episode resonated with you, make sure you're following the show so you don't miss part 2, and share this with someone who might need to hear it too. Because healing the way we see ourselves doesn't just change us, it changes the people coming after us too. And you are nowhere near done. We'll see you next time.